What's up, guys? Zeus here with another video. Quick reminder that if you do like what you're watching, don't forget to like and comment on the video and press that subscribe button if you want to see more of my content, and don't forget to hit the bell so you always get notified of when I upload a new video. Now, this is a long-awaited video that I am currently posting. This video is going to be on balancing this game that we call Identity V. Now, hot take, very hot take, this game is not balanced. As much as people want to preach about balancing and how, oh, this game does this right, this game is not balanced at all. This game, in my personal opinion, when it at least comes to the high tiers, it is way too survivor sided. It is way too easy to win as survivor. There are so many different things as a survivor that you can abuse, so many different characters that you can abuse as a survivor, so many different loops and hiding areas that you can abuse on survivors on certain maps. There's just way too many things in this game that just help the survivors win like it's nothing. It's like there's no effort being put into survivor. You can literally just run a certain team comp and you'll guarantee tie unless you just like severely fuck up. And like that's like you let the hunter like terror shock you twice or some shit like that. But 9 times out of 10 that's not going to happen, because in the high tiers the survivors know how to play the game. They know what they're doing. They have the required amount of game sense at least to, you know, not get terror shocked on rescue unless they get mind gamed by the hunter. Now, the reason I say that this game is survivor sided in the high tiers is because of the fact that the hunters have no capabilities whatsoever 9 times out of 10 to do anything. We've only seen so many hunters with the abilities to actually be able to compete with these team comps, and that's including in the fact that they're playing perfectly. Like, the only two arguable S tier hunters that we have in this game are Sculptor and Dream Witch. Sculptor because her map pressure with her pick, as well as her anti-tight kite and anti-transitional kiting, which is very good. And then Dream Witch because, you know, Dream Witch. I don't think there's much to be said. It's Dream Witch. But survivors, they can just run the same 7 team comps endlessly with the same 7 characters. Like, let me put this into perspective, right? Say you ban mech, like I always do. The team comp that you will most likely go against while you ban mech will be something along the lines of Merc, Forward, Priestess, Seer. If you ban Priestess, Merc, Forward, Mech, Seer. If you ban Merc, Forward, Priestess, Mech, Seer. And then sometimes you'll get lucky and there won't be all S tier characters, but still, it's gonna be something along the lines with just A minus tier kiters. Like, then if that won't be the case, there'll be like a coordinator or something. There'll be a enchantress. There'll be a prospector. Just kiters that can just like completely destroy hunters with their abilities, just because of the fact that there's no skill requirement to gaining their abilities. Like enchantress, she gets rewarded for playing the game bad. Like, let's be real here. We all meme about it, but enchantress gets rewarded for playing like shit. Like, oh wow, you fucked up and got an early game hit on your team. Congrats. Here's something that can help you kite, and it will completely take away the hunter's momentum as well as ability if you use it at the correct timing. Like, it's just so brain dead, and it's not fair, because you, as a hunter, you can't even play certain hunters. Like, you see who I'm playing in this match right now? I'm playing motherfucking Anne. I'm playing Anne, a C, arguably B tier hunter, a quote tight character. But look at this, 3 ciphers left, and as from the look of it, I'm playing for a win. But you want to know why I'm playing for a win? Because the survivors are making mistakes. Like, look at that seer. He got so desperate trying to farm for an owl that he got hit, and then he gets knocked here anyways. It's like they're making mistakes and I'm capitalizing on it. That's the only reason why I'm even putting up a fight. Which brings me to my second point. Survivors, for the love of Christ, stop preaching that every hunter is OP just because they capitalize on your mistakes or because you don't know how to kite them. Anne is not a broken hunter. Sculptor, arguably a broken hunter. Dream Witch, in my opinion, is the only broken hunter in this game because she can control 5 copies of herself across the map all with their own different ranges, all with their own separate abilities that they can use at different times. That, in my opinion, is the only real broken hunter. Sculptor statues, if you know how to kite a sculptor, they're easy to dodge. Target statues are a little bit iffy, but nonetheless, you can still dodge them if you know what you're doing. Same with kiting a sculptor, same with dodging statues when she uses her pick. Same goes with violinist notes. They're not very hard. They're not hard to mind game. It's not hard to mind game a viol. It's not. Hunters are not broken just because you do not know how to kite them. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it just does not make sense to me. Survivors speak about hunters being broken every time they get knocked in 10 seconds to them, but it's like, learn how to kite the hunter. Like, you know how, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, take what they're doing with Vio. They're nerfing his debuff. They're giving him a semi-nerf with his debuff, right? And they're making it so that way then it doesn't stay permanently. It goes away after automatic 40 seconds. Because the survivors don't want to take the time to actually learn the kit of the hunter so they know how to counter it. Like, is it that unfair for the survivors to pray? Like, it's that unfair for you to walk away 18 meters and tap a button and just stand still for 10 seconds? That's unfair? That's hard? Because let me tell you then, if that's hard, then I must be a pro motherfucking player then. I must be a pro if that's hard. Like, it's insanity to me. Like, the survivors preach and scream about don't nerf our survivors when their survivors are brain dead and broken and take close to no skill at all. Like, it just does not make sense to me. And for all of those, like, oh, but survivors are meant to be abused, like, that's the whole point, they're in the game. Yes, this is true and that, but it's like, if it's abusable, if we can use it, then we're gonna use it. Well then, by that logic, I don't want to hear you people complain about sculptor statues hitting you. I don't want to hear about a Dream Witch being able to leech and spam patroller on you 4 times. I don't want to hear about how Avaya was able to get a double hit on the same time when 2 people came for rescue and sacked you both. I don't want to hear any of that shit then. Because if we're going to be following your logic, then that's how it should work. Like, it just does not make sense to me. Now, the final and main reason of why I say this game is survivor-sided as hell is because of my best friend, Cypher Rush. Now, we all know good old Cypher Rush, coming in clutch, saving the matches after somebody does a 10-second kite. You know, the usual. Just coming in and saving the day and completely robbing the hunter of what should have been a win or a tie. And let me just say, these ciphers decode way too fast. These ciphers, they decode way too fast. Like, they need to increase the amount of ciphers on every map, or they need to increase the amount of time it takes to decode a cipher, because frankly, 5 ciphers does not seem like it's enough. And if they're not going to do that, give us hunters that can actually do something about it. Because Sculptor, prime example of a hunter that can do something about it, because she can pressure a cipher while she's camping a chair. She can pressure up to 2 ciphers while she's camping a chair, because if she chairs somebody close to a cipher, then after that she can just pick to the other cipher, and then she's controlling 2 ciphers at once, which is good in a very fast-paced game, especially in a game like IDV where matches can literally end in 3 minutes. Like, my fastest match that I've ever had throughout my entire career playing this game was literally, what, 3.5 minutes? 4 minutes at max? Like, do you understand that? 4 minutes. 4 minutes for this game to end. And I ban mechanic every goddamn map. Every single match, it's mech ban because of her Cypher Rush's OP. But clearly it doesn't matter. Clearly it don't matter because I can still get Cypher Rushed. Now, obviously there are exceptions where, like, if the hunter willingly chooses to tunnel a survivor that they are countered by, or if they willingly choose to go after, like, somebody like a mercenary or forward, then that's on the hunter. Then yeah, the survivor should be rewarded by Cypher Rushing, because the hunter is making the decision to go after a very good kiter, or somebody that is showing themselves to know how to kite against the hunter. That is all on the hunter. That is not on the survivors at all. Like, I don't expect the survivors to stand still while somebody's kiting. But it's like, if a hunter knocks somebody in what, like 40 seconds, like 30 to 40 seconds, 20 on a good day, hell, sometimes even 10 if the survivor does that bad of a kite, I don't think that the survivor should still be able to manage to pull off a bullshit win. I just don't. I don't think that should be plausible. The cipher should not be popping at a rate to where, oh, I have to knock somebody in under 10 seconds or I'm gonna fucking lose this game, or I still have the possibility at losing. Like, that just should not be the case at all. That shouldn't be the case. It's insanity. Sorry. A bit tired recording this very early. But yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like, I've had matches on stream and in videos where the Cypher Rush will literally save the game because of the fact that they're able to decode so fast, or because a mechanic had a doll, or because the mines, I was able to decode 3 ciphers and rotate away from me, or the Explorer got some pages and was able to turn a 2 cipher kite into a 3 cipher kite, or just make it from 3 ciphers remaining to 2 or 1 ciphers remaining. Like, it's all of these different things, just like, it makes it very hard to win as a hunter unless you have like tournament experience or some shit like that. And 9 times out of 10, the average player doesn't have tournament experience. Like, if you're like playing in IVL, or you're playing in tournaments like KOA, or just like the NAAU summer tournament type, then obviously, since you have tournament experience, you're going to be more skillful and you're going to have more rational decision making compared to other hunters. But the average player doesn't have that. Like, the average hunter does not have that. Like me, I go against some of the top players. I scrimmed against some of the top teams before. Like, I know I don't have tournament experience because my clan, we haven't participated in a tournament yet. But logistically speaking, I have the game sense. I just play stupid sometimes and troll, which all is on me. But the survivors should not be getting rewarded for playing like shit because they can just decode at a fucking like they can decode ciphers in milliseconds. It just should not be a thing. But it's like, well, what can you do? Because, you know, the ass doesn't want to balance their damn game. Now, on the topic of the Cypher Rush, you know what else? Accelerated decoding. Remove it from the game. For the love of Christ, remove it. Please, Jesus, I beg, remove accelerated from this game. Accelerated decoding should not be a thing in this game. The survivors should not be rewarded for playing like shit with a comeback mechanic that can literally save the games and get rid of all decode debuffs because the decoding buff from accelerated is so massive. Like, it should not be a thing. It shouldn't. Accelerated decoding only makes the cipher progress worse. If you are a hunter and you see accelerated decoding, your thought process isn't, yay, I'm extending the game. Your thought process is, oh shit, now they're gonna pop a cipher in half the motherfucking time. Especially at the 1 cipher mark, where the cipher is primed and everyone is just gonna get a 50% speed boost. Like, it's just like, why are the survivors rewarded for playing like shit? Why? Why are they rewarded with a comeback mechanic? Like, if you play like shit, you played like shit, that means that you deserve to lose, not manage to win, not manage to get something out your ass. Like, it doesn't make sense. But now that I've said my 2 piece about the Cypher Rush and how it's absurdly broken, we're gonna take a step back real quick and we're gonna go talk about characters again. We're just gonna take a quick step back because I wholeheartedly feel that there also needs to be character nerfs, and if not character nerfs, there needs to be type nerfs. Now, in my last video that I made, I was mentioning type nerfs, and I said that I would be talking about it in a new video when I talk about how this game can get balanced and make it at least more hunter friendly or hunter sided so hunters have a chance at winning. So now, type nerfs. Pretty much the logistics of it would be that if you have more than one type of survivor on the team, so like if there's 2 rescuers, 2 kiters, 2 decoders, there would be an overall nerf to the team that is spread across the board. So So if there are two rescuers, there'd be a decoding buff. There'd be a decoding debuff implemented across the entire board, no matter what the character is. This would be calculated in canceling out the percentage when it comes to the decoding buff for the decoding characters, and it would stack on top of the debuffs of characters that already have decode debuffs. So characters like Forward would have a 40% decode debuff if there was a Merc on the team, or if there was a Wildling, etc. A Prisoner wouldn't have, what is it? It's like a 20% decode buff. Instead, it would be a 100. Instead, it would be a 10%. Seer would actually have a decoding debuff, as well as Priestess would have a 20% decoding debuff. You know, shit like that. So the logistics of this would be, if there is two rescuers, decode debuff of 10% across the board, as well as a kiting debuff of 5% across the board. This would affect vaulting speed and pallet dropping speed. If there are two kiters across the board, 10% decode debuff spread across the board, and a 10% kiting debuff spread across the board, because they are kiters. You know, they're built into kite hunters. Now, if there are two decoders, 20% decode debuff spread across the board to every character on the field, but no kiting debuff, because the 20% debuff is already massive enough. If there are two decoders on the team, it'll just be the 20% decoding debuff spread across the board. This would affect Mech Doll as well, because for fuck's sake, let that doll be affected by debuffs for once, because Lord have mercy, if I don't find that doll, I'm gonna die. So yes, those were the ideas for the type nerfs. So that way then, survivors, they get fucking punished for running the exact same broken team comp on end. Like, look at this team comp that I'm facing right now as a BQ. Forward, Priestess, Seer, and Praise. 3 S tiers. And just then Prisoner, you know, Cypher rushing. Which, by the way, I haven't seen the entire game. Like, as of right now. Now, as for character nerfs, we saw in the last match that the Merc was able to clutch dungeon because he can spam elbow pads on end. We also saw that the Seer was able to extend the Priestess's kite because he can give an owl to somebody, saving the fucking game. And then we also saw Priestess in that exact same match just being able to spam portals on end, extending her own kite because of that stun. So now, Seer, let him keep his early game owl, let him keep his whole I can see the hunter, because him being able to see the hunter is his own little shit. That's his thing. That's what his character is known for. Let him keep that early game owl, but he can't give that owl to anybody for the first 70 seconds of the game, because that owl turns 20-second kites to 3 Cypher kites. That owl hit is the difference between somebody being able to transition to a new kiting area so they can keep on kiting, or whether they go down in a shit area and cost the entire team. Priestess, give her cooldowns in between her motherfucking portals, because her having 3 stack portals when you find her is the absolute fucking pain. It's unbearable. It's so irritating, because those portals alone buy what, 30 seconds of time? Just her going through objects, just portal, 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 portal. It's annoying and it's completely unfair. Merc, same shit. Give him a cooldown in between his elbow pads, because like what that Merc did to me in that Sculptor match, he was able to clutch dungeon because he can just spam elbow pads without any punishment at all. Like there's nothing. It's just crazy to me. As for Priestess's global portals, 1 global portal per game. 1 global per game, and that's it. That's it. 1 global per game. Because global literally changes the game, especially if the hunter doesn't have TP early game. The survivor can do a 20-second kite. If they get rescued, and assuming that this is a rescuer that has Tide Turner, if there is a Priestess global portal 20 seconds within the rescue, and if that survivor gets through the global, it's clipped. That's it. You lost that survivor. If you're not a BQ with a mirror, or you don't have, or a Wu Chang with your TP, or you just don't have TP at all, that's it. You're screwed. You're not getting that survivor back. That's it. Like, Priestess's global portal is just so broken, and the fact that she can use it more than once in a game is completely absurd. Like, the amount of stuff that you can pull with a Priestess global is insane. It's just completely unfair. Like, if we're gonna talk about all these nerfs and how, oh, quote unquote heavy these nerfs are, let me just say this right now. This is an asymmetrical game. Stated when you download it, it's supposed to be a Dead by Daylight copy. This game is not supposed to be survivor sided. It's not supposed to be fair for survivors. This game is supposed to be as hunter sided as it can get. Four-mans should not be happening at the rate they're happening. Four-mans should be a rare occurrence. A four-man should happen only if your team like completely outplays the hunter in every sense of the word. Three-man should be the most main thing that occur. And fucking hunters, they should be winning more than average. They should be winning more than 60% of the time. Because this is supposed to be a hunter-sided game, not a survivor-sided game. This game is not supposed to be survivor-sided in the slightest. Like, that's the end of the video. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I was definitely very heated when making this video. But it's just like, dude, NetEase, please make this game easier. Like, you're nerfing every hunter because of what the survivors are saying. And it's just like, the survivors always have ways to outmaneuver and outplay the hunter. Like, there are so many plausible ways for survivors to win if they just took the time to learn. But nonetheless, hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me hear what you guys have to say in the comments. I'm Zeus, and I'm out.